Good morning. This is the Chorus Call conference operator. Welcome, and thank you for joining the Tinexta call related to the acquisition of ABF Group. As a reminder, all participants are in listen-only mode. After the presentation, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. Should anyone need assistance during the conference call, they may signal an operator by pressing star and 0 on their telephone. At this time, I would like to turn the conference over to Mr. Joseph Mastagostino, Chief Investor Relations Officer of Tinexta. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, operator. Good morning to all of you, and thank you for joining Tinexta's conference call relating to the binding and irrefutable offer for the acquisition of 73.9% of the capital of ABF Group SAS, also known as ABF Group. In the form of a put option in favor of the selling shareholders according to French practice. Here with me today, Pier Andrea Chevallard, CEO of Tinexta, Oddone Pozzi, Group CFO. As a reminder, all the relevant documentation relating to this conference call can be downloaded from our company website. For the purpose of this call, Pier Andrea will provide some key strategic statements relating to the announced deal. I will go over the highlights in the form of an executive summary, and Oddone instead will go over the transaction details as well as the financials. The last part of the call will be dedicated to Q&A. A recording of the conference call will be available also on our company website, and it will be posted upon completion of this call. At this point, I will leave it to Pier Andrea for some key statements.
Thank you, Joseph. Good morning to all of you, and thanks for being here. I am extremely delighted to announce the binding agreement to purchase a majority stake in ABF Group in France via warrant offer. This is an extremely important deal for us, which I would define as transformational on many strategic aspects. First and foremost, the business unit, the business innovation with this acquisition becomes one of the few key players in the European market into supporting the growth of SMEs in the areas of advisory and digital transformation. As you can recall, this has been the single largest M&A deal we announced in the days of the company, with an enterprise value of over 155 million and a strong strategic rationale. We in fact believe this is another very important step forward for Tinexta's equity story, as we are expanding at a pan-European level, supporting the group's ambition to become a key international player. ABF Group is a very appreciated company with a strong commercial, business, institutional relationship in France, with over 1,000 customers, 130 highly skilled people, and a network of over 7,000 partners. ABF will provide a fundamental leap forward in business innovation, as it will offer further support in the very high margin and highly valuable market in which Warrant operates. Warrant, in fact, is already a leader at an Italian international level, and with this acquisition becomes a key player in the European market. The deal will provide the scale and in-depth industry knowledge to all its existing and prospective customers. The ambition is to become a key international partner in advising companies in the field of innovation, digitalization and growth. As you all may know, in France we already have a presence with Euroquality, which during the years has been a successful acquisition. Then in Spain we have Evalue, which has shown great capacity to generate high-level margins in terms of BDA. And now, together with ABF, the growth as well as the synergies are expected to raise even stronger. ABF Group becomes therefore a great complement in terms of offer, and together both with Euroquality, Evalue and Warrant, we will create a powerhouse at an European level, able to leverage on some of the highest and most competent resources of the group. The companies altogether will be able to create a focused competence center for European projects, use ABF network to target French customers, and generate cross-selling opportunities of warrant services on ABF clients, specifically on R&D credit, tax credit, as well as sustainability services. Above all, this deal will provide the support for growth in terms of margin for the entire business unit, Business Innovation. The world of digital transformation is constantly growing, and demand needs to be filled with key strategic partners. Tinexta Group has the mission to become a strong European player and the partner of choice of companies that are willing to and need to innovate and grow. Lastly, from a strategic point of view, we wanted to continue to pursue a very focused approach on all of our three business units, improving always more the integration, collaboration, growth, and scale at a company-wide level. If we look at digital trust, between Certain Europe in France and the shares in the UK, we spent well over 100 million euros in the last 2 years, providing the proper ground for growth in the medium to long term. In cybersecurity, after having spent about 100 million for the three companies 3 years ago, Yoroi, Swascan, and Corvallis, and having them diligently integrated, we also have the call option on defense tech, which, if exercised next year, would add another investment of about 100 million. With this acquisition of business innovation space, we add another 155 million in terms of investment. If I add all that together, we are closer to 500 million or half a billion euros in terms of investment for the group just in the last couple of years. We are putting this investment at work, and we remain extremely committed at improving and accelerating the company's future growth potential while expanding its scale in Europe. I leave now to Joseph Dodone to provide you with further details on the transaction. Thank you very much again for being here.
Thank you, Pierandrea. For the purpose of the call, we are on page 4 of the presentation. Here we have a keynote on ABF. ABF basically was founded in 2004. It is based in Tours in France, and it carries out consultancy activity for public funding to support innovation and growth. As you can imagine, there obviously are a lot of potential cross-proliferation in terms of revenues as well as future growth that we expect from this deal. In terms of high-level numbers, the revenues are expected to come on a full year 2023 base at around 30.6 million in terms of revenue, growing plus 54% versus prior year. More importantly, EBITDA adjusted in 2023 is expected to come in at 14.6 million or 48% margin versus revenue, growing even more than revenue at 55% versus the prior year. In terms of the rationale, as Pierandrea has mentioned in his opening statements, here the idea is that business innovation is to become one of the major players in Europe, both from a digital transformation point, but also it wants to become an international partner in advising companies in the fields of innovation and growth, obviously having digitalization as the medium term. Strong client portfolio is brought over by ABF. We talked about the clients. We talked about also the number of partners. Pierandrea said that there are over 7,000 partners that the company brings to the group. This is a strong clientele base that is widely distributed through all of France. We, at this point, one of the key areas in terms of rationale is also the robust expertise that these new future colleagues have in subsidized finance, and obviously given the strong and highly skilled people that they have. This will bring to strong potential diversification already in the medium to long term. In terms of high key financials, the enterprise value is 155 million. Today we are purchasing a 74% part that is regulated via put call options. We'll discuss that much more in detail in the financial part. Turning to page 5. So who is buying what, right? You all are very accustomed to the 3 business units that we have. On page 5, we are highlighting which division is obviously being interested. So it is business innovation. More specifically, it is Warrant Hub. So the initial 73.9% being bought by our fully owned subsidiary, which is Warrant. There are 2028 and 2029 put call options in place for the remaining 50% stake, and the 2029 is on the residual of that 50%. Again, enterprise value is valued at $155 million. Going to page 6, it is important that we highlight that this is a binding and irrevocable offer for the acquisition of the 73.9% of the capital ABF, and it is in the form of a put option in favor of the selling shareholders according to French practice. On the bottom of in the middle of page 6, we are showing some of the key rationales and value creation. We touched upon the fact that ABF carries out consultancy activities. It is obviously giving us the power to become a European player in advisory, and it holds a very strong portfolio of clients, over 500, and of partners. In terms of coverage, it covers all of France, all of the French territory, with 8 strategically located offices in order to grasp all of the market opportunities throughout the country. Remember, being a local player for us becomes a priority, just like it has been in other similar acquisitions that we did at a company-wide level. Obviously, we would like to strengthen and develop our competency centers in terms of European funding. This comes natural. We are very active in that already in Warrant, so understanding that this becomes now a key European priority, I think, is very easy for us to understand. There is also a key priority in terms of creation of an industrialized process in terms of managing tax credit, right? We are very, I would say, at the state of the art in Italy, and this company is a complete and perfect complement when it comes down to tax credit projects, which you all know have a very high margin. In terms of potential proliferation and synergies, obviously we're already putting together commercial activities, both from a product standpoint as well as from a services standpoint, utilizing ABF's network, as Pierandrea obviously said. Now, in terms of approvals and timing, it must be said that in accordance with French law, the exercise of the put option, if any, by the sellers is subject to the successful completion of the employee information consultation procedure in the event of a sale of the company. After the closing, where we have purchased at that point 7.9%, 26.1% of the share capital will continue to be held by the founding partners, which will maintain managerial roles in the company. Turning to page 7, we are now highlighting a bit on the left some key additional elements that you can see in terms of the value creation. Definitely the approach of having a tailor-made approach to fulfill the client's needs. At this point, Pierandrea was touching upon it in his opening statement, where we have possibility to directly pitch from the best expertise, both at Warrant, in Italy, eValue in Spain. In France, we already have our presence with Europroject and Euroquality, and now with ABF, I think we have definitely the potential of putting together a powerhouse for that. We will leverage on subsidized finance, which obviously is a very high margin market, and we expect to continue to pursue that in various countries. The fact that this company is widely spread, I think, throughout France resembles the type of M&A deal that we always have planned and that we highlighted during the Capital Markets Day. Remember, we always look at companies that have a local presence, that have local strategic partners, and that have those relationships that become of pivotal importance when it comes down to increasing market and increasing, obviously, growth in terms of revenue. On the right side, we touch upon 3 major aspects. The business unit, business innovation, is to become now a key European player in supporting companies. We want to become the advisory partner of choice with this full suite of services and products that clients can go to at this point in all of the regions in which business innovation is active. And obviously, the other main mission that Tinexta have is to become, an active pan-European player. On page 8, we give you a bit of detail also of the business lines as is in terms of ABF today. ABF has a very strong concentration of revenue, business coming from innovation and growth. These are funds granted by public financiers to support innovative projects. We're talking about state, region, and public bodies. Who knows business innovation very well knows that this is, the bread and butter of this type of business. In fact, it accounts to 84% of total business line revenues. Then we have European and collaborative participation in European projects, which came in at around 4%, with a huge potential to growth, obviously given the synergies that will come from the unifying both Warrant together with ABF. Then we have public actors and associations, which are at this point coming in at around 5%. And these are financing for public bodies and nonprofit associations. And obviously, last but not least, the most important one, and with strong potential to growth, which is tax credit, which came in at around 5%. Now, turning to the further pages, starting from page 10, I will leave it to Oddone for some transaction details and financials.
Thank you, Joseph, and good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. Now, let's move into some more details of the financial aspect of this deal. As already mentioned, Tinexta has finalized the binding offer for acquiring the 74% of ABF Group with an enterprise value of 155 million. As Pier Andrea pointed out, is the largest deal ever of Tinexta. The company is currently owned with 62% by the founders, a couple of financial investors like Crédit Mutuel and Crédit Agricole of around 36%, and the management, the key management people are having the 22%. Once the put option and the contract will be converted into a deal, we will have Tinexta jumping up to 74%, the three founders keeping the 25%, and still the management to be engaged with 1.1%. The price of the first 24% is going to be split in basically three tranches at the end of the day. The first tranche that we are going to pay at closing as a pro quota enterprise value plus or minus the net financial position at that date is 85%, and then still we have two earn-out to be paid on results 24 for 5%, and another 10% of results 23 and 24. So this is keeping a further focus on the management to achieve the results. Then we are entering with the founder in a very long-term agreement. The goal here is to further develop at a very strong pace this company. The company has already a quite significant size in France, has big potential of growth, and as already pointed out by Pier Andrea, still we have opportunity to work together with the Warrant team to further develop options for our client, new services and new solutions. So we are going to have an agreement of 5 years basically, when we will have a put and call option on 28 for 50% of the remaining stake following the approval of results 27, and the residual part in 29 based on 28 results. As you can see here, is a very long-term agreement trying to definitely exploit all the opportunity of growth and combination of business between Tinexta and Warrant capabilities with the capabilities of the three founders. The enterprise value for the second part will be defined on the average of 26 and 27 as well as of 27, 28 with an EBITDA adjusted multiples around 9. Obviously, there is a formula that will monitor the development of the company around the period of the plan, and there are caps and floor and acceleration or deceleration of the multiples. The cash payment of the deal at closing will be paid totally in cash by the group, as you very well know from our last quarterly report. Tinexta through the sale of the business of the credit information business, as well as with the cash generated by the operations, as a quite significant amount of cash that is fully available to complete the transaction at closing that should occur in 24. If we move to page 11, here we have Joseph previously shared with you the area of business where the company is working. Here you can really appreciate the capability to address several industry and clients. This is a very important point. It means that the market is even greater because the company has already the capability to address several industries. And also in terms of size of the company there, you can see really a very balanced distribution of the revenue between small and medium enterprises, mid-cap and large cap. So this is very important and show how already the company has developed a quite significant penetration in the French market, a penetration in different industry, and penetration in different size of client. This means that opportunities are there, and opportunities are have been shared with the founders. As you can see, in the last 4 years, the company grew significantly. Basically, from 2020 to 2023, the company has multiplied by 3 both revenue and EBITDA. Very important here are 2 main factors. First of all, the capability of growth. The capability of growth is around 20% per year, and this is one of the main point when we approach the company. And the second point is that the marginality is a very high marginality in the range of 50%, and the company was able to keep this very resilient over the period. So also in terms of sustainability of the margin of EBITDA, we are very confident about this, and according to the plan that ABF share in their board, we are expecting growth over the next 4 years in the range of 20-23% per year, with a slight improvement of the margin. Let's move now to page 12, basically to enter in some more details of the financial part of the deal. Like I said, the enterprise value has been agreed at 155 million. So the enterprise value pro quota that we are going to buy as the first part is around 114 million. The payment of the pro quota of the first tranche is going to be, like I said, 85%. If you apply the current net financial position of the company, basically the disbursement of the company at closing is going to be 76 million. as well as during 2024, when we will be in a position to check the results on 23, there will be the additional earn-out for around 6 million. So the total consideration in terms of cash disbursement of 24 is around 82 million, so well below the cash availability of the group. Also, we share with the market the results at the end of September. At the end of October, the situation is still there, where we have more than 140 million available. At the present, we assume to keep the current lines. We are having discussion with local banks, but even if the current lines will be not available, we are ready with our cash, as already we have a dialogue with our banks in order to address potentially the point. Going forward, and in order to share with all you guys here, in order to help you in understanding, what is going to be on the balance sheet of Tinexta when we will perform the closing. Basically, in the impact or total impact on net financial position is going to be in the range of 156 million, obviously with the actualization that will occur in the balance sheet. 76 million the first tranche of 85%, other 6 million in the second tranche in 24. The further 10 million, if the company will achieve the results agreed among parties, will be further 10 million. Then we will move to put option of the two relevant periods to be paid in 28 and 29, and both parts will account in the range of 17 million. Obviously, we are going, at the current status, we are going also to consolidate the financial indebtedness of the company, that is around 32 million. At page 13, just to give you a rough pro forma of Tinexta Group, if we are going to include also ABF, we are talking about around 120 million euro EBITDA on a pro forma basis, with a financial debt in the range of 230 million. What does it mean? It means that the leverage will be still in the range, in the lower part of 2 times, and still shows the capability of the group to have a further room for other deals, as Mr. Chevallard already anticipated to you. So, before moving to the remarks to Joseph, here you can see a very balanced deal, a deal that is following our strategy, a company that is still fast growing, and the opportunity to share this journey with the founders for the next 4 or 5 years, growing at a very fast pace. So thank you, everybody. I leave it back to Joseph.
Thank you, Oddone. So to wrap it up, we're on page 15 with some closing remarks. I think that with the announcement of the deal today, we are further supporting and confirming the equity story. We meet regularly with investors in conferences, roadshows, and we've always been talking about our mission of becoming a pan-European international player. I think this type of deal is a transformational one, as we mentioned, and it definitely supports the equity story. The second point I think that is important to highlight is the fact that we were able to, have and identify a high-quality target, and in a very, I think, important and selected market. which guarantees, business upselling, cross-proliferation, and strong synergies to come. A big thank you also to our M&A department that was able to, in a very short period of time, identify M&A deals that are accretive to the group and therefore strengthen the marginality in what is obviously one of the most important business areas in which we operate, which is business innovation. Last, we are leveraging on scale to obviously expand our business model, which is always growing in the next couple of years. At this point, I will leave it to the operator for Q&A, and to make the best of the time, let's go ahead with the questions, operator.
Thank you. This is the Chorus Call conference operator. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touch-tone telephone. To remove yourself from the question queue, please press star and two. Please pick up the receiver when asking questions. Anyone who has a question may press star and one at this time. The first question is from Isacco Brambilla, Mediobanca. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for taking my question and for the very detailed presentation. Three questions on my side. First one is on the structure of the French market in which ABF operates. Could you give us a bit more color on where it is positioned? I mean, top 3, top 5, top 10 players in the segment, and also how is the structure, who are the main competitors, even in terms of size. Second question is on the follow-up on the growth prospects. You mentioned 20 to 23% average top line growth over the next 4 years. Just wondering if the base of this time frame is 2023 or 2022. Last question is if you can recall us your current cost of debt and where you think what you may get in terms of rates if you decide to add financing lines next year.
Just a second, Isacco, give us a second.
Thank you. About the structure of French market, we have in France some operator. There are a few operators active in this kind of business. ABF is one of the leading operators. So there are 3 bigger operators, but we can say ABF is one of the leading operators in a market which has some very specific features. They can rely on a very stable regulation system. Since I would say since 15 years, the industrial policy in France has been always based on tax credit, on research and development, and on the local project financing, local development project financing. It means that we can consider also in the future to have a very stable regulation system with a market where are active a few players, and when we can rely on a strong collaboration between ABF and 2 of the main French banks. There are 2 agreements, and through them ABF can have access to a customer basis extremely extremely selected by the two banking system. Therefore, we can say is a market for us very interesting because we can through ABF, of course, starting 2025, to deliver the services of our other companies of the group, or moreover to develop new services in ABF Group. By two.
Okay. Isacco Ordone, I go through the third question on the cost of debt. If we go back to our presentation of month 9, as we shared, current at the end of September, we had basically 140 million of financial debt in the range of 2.3% cost. So a very, very low cost because of the negotiation we had at that time and the IRS that we put on this debt. But this debt is gonna expire in the next 3 years. So for running the closing of this deal, we do not need additional cash. But if we go to see the 24, definitely we have to remember that we are going to face also the exercise of the put and call in the cyber security. So we are, we will start working with the banks in order to reshape our financial structure. For sure, we will not, cancel the current lines. We will keep the current lines. We will add other lines that will support our future development and the exercise of the put and calls. Obviously, new lines will be at the current market level. Still, our leverage, including ABF acquisition, is going to be below 2%, so we do expect to be able to negotiate quite reasonably good margins with the banks. The banks are supporting us in a very positive way, and so we will start since tomorrow, as the news now is there, to reshape this. You can consider that the Euribor probably is gonna be in a flat or going down a bit, and then we are going to apply the margin that are at market level. Obviously, will be not anymore at 2% all included as it is. The second question, sorry, I miss a bit exactly your second question, Isacco.
Yeah, sure. It's just on the growth profile of the business. You mentioned 20 to 23% top line growth prospects. Just wondering which is the base of this time frame, whether it is 2022 or the preliminary results of.
We are talking about 2023. We expect from 2023 on capability of growth in the range of 20-23%. Accordingly to the plan of the seller. Yeah.
Many thanks.
Thank you.
The next question is from Andrea Bonfà, Banca Akros. Please go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon to everybody. Congratulations for the deal. I got actually 2 questions. One is more related to the cross synergies that you can extract between, say, your existing operation, Italy and Spain, with this new French asset. You already mentioned something, but if you can elaborate a little bit on that. And the second one is just a detail. What's the capex intensity on this kind of business? I would presume that capex is very minimal, being a consultancy operation, and hence D&A should be quite minimal. Just a detail. Thank you.
Just a second, Andrea.
Well, thank you for the question. Well, listen, ABF in France, as I said before, has a strong relationship with the two main banking group, with a strong presence at the local level. ABF has about, if I remember well, 8 offices throughout the France. We consider that through the ABF network, through the cooperation with the banks, we will be able to attract new customers at local level. It's the same in Spain and in Italy. We are expanding every year our customer basis. Also in Italy, we are expanding our customer basis every year, and this allow us to go on with a good growth rate also when the tax incentives are going down. And we don't see any particular elements of worry about the customer expansions. Maybe with such a growth rate, we will have the opposite problem to guarantee the delivery through onboarding of new resources. But it's a happy problem anyway.
I go for the second question, Andrea. Good morning. You are perfectly right. CapEx are not significant there. Obviously, you should consider, like $500,000 per year as, support to several activities they have. They have 8 offices and other stuff. So this is definitely minimal. What is important to count here is that with the such a growth, obviously you should have a bit of absorption of working capital, but it's a positive news when you have such a strong growth. So I would say very low capex, as you correctly said.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The next question is from Andrea Randone, Intermonte. Please go ahead.
Thank you, and good morning to everybody. Thanks for the very clear presentation. Just a few questions about the points you already discussed. The first one is, can you make a brief comparison between the ABF company you are buying today and your Italian activities in the same segment? Second question, you mentioned cross-selling opportunities. Can you make us a couple of examples where you think you can start in this important activity? And the third question, you probably mentioned something, but are there any cost synergies between your current activity and the acquired one? Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Give us a second.
Well, about the activities of OneTab ABF, there are some similarity. I mean, they are both active in R&D tax incentives, with some specific difference. ABF is very strong in projects for local development because in France there are many financial resources dedicated to support the SMEs in local expansion projects, and they are very active on this field. In Italy, there are few resources on this business line, and we are starting just now to support, to advise the companies on this activity. We consider there are very interesting potential, as I said before, commercial synergies and industrial synergies in the future. For example, in the European project through air quality, which is small but with a very strong market penetration, we consider we will have some important opportunities of further development. As far as cost synergies are, I would suggest Oddone to answer. I don't see any.
Andrea, good morning. Oddone here. You know, this is for us a deal of growth. You know, we as a Tinexta Group, talking more about, you know, the part of corporate governance and support the company. Warrant, talking about the business. The goal is to help to put ABF in the best condition to deliver a plan with the growth of both revenue and EBITDA in the range of 20%. This is the major goal. So our due diligence also was focused in understanding very well their operational processes, and we were very convinced about the quality and the capability of the company. Obviously, during the period of the agreement, we will exploit all the opportunity to get synergy. But honestly, I strongly believe that the company is already very efficient. Obviously, we are not going to double activities among our group, but it's going to be much more important our support to let them grow. If you think at Warrant, that basically, since it was acquired by Tinexta, has doubled its EBITDA, this has been also a very important point for the founders. They have in front of them a group and a company that was able to double. And I think, I do strongly believe that for them was one of the reasons they were able to enter in agreement with us. So, obviously, synergies will be there, but this is not what will change in the picture of this deal. What is going to change the picture of this deal is to really deliver such a strong growth that we as a partner agreed upfront, and we are all engaged to deliver it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Very clear. Just a quick follow-up. Being a key European player, as you mentioned during the presentation, can help in doing a better lobbying activity, or is not something important? Thank you.
Just a second. Well, sure. We will become one of the really few pan-European players, active at least with quite a strong position in Italy, France, and Spain. It means that we can first of all we can exchange very quickly information on what is going on at the different government level. And on the same time, we will be entitled to be, I wouldn't say lobby, but to exert some
pressure or to make a proposal and suggestion which will be taken into account. And on the same time, we will have on all the Italian or French or Spain customers which are working transnational. We will be in a very strong competitive position. You should think on all the Italian companies which are active in France. There are a lot, and or in Spain. We will be able to serve on the same topics. I mean the innovation processes all over Europe. It will be a very strong competitive advantages against the competitors.
Thank you very much.
The next question is from Alexandra Arsova from Equita. Please go ahead.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for taking my questions. Couple of questions on my end. The first one, if you maybe can provide us a broad indication of where you expect the net debt on EBITDA to end up at the end of 2024, also considering including the exercise of the option on Defense Tech, so a very broad indication, if you may. The second one is actually a follow-up on the previous questions, so basically on the business model of ABF. So the revenue generation model is similar to the one of Warren Hub, so you receive an upfront fee and a success fee depending on the projects of your clients. And then maybe just if you may explain better the dynamics of revenues and EBITDA of ABF over the last 2-3 years, because I saw from the slides that there was a little bit of slowdown in 2022 and then a very strong recovery in 2023. So more color on this. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Well, obviously, as you see on page 13, the pro forma of 2023 is talking about a leverage in the range of 2 times. If we are going to exercise the call on Defense Tech and we include everything, we are still working on our detailed plan, but I would say the leverage will land in the range of 2.5 to 3 times. So this is what we do expect. So still at the level where the cost of financing is going to be not crazy and sustainable by the capability of the group to generate cash. So this is the information we have today. Still, time is to come. Obviously, we are working on all potential solution for this, but we are not expecting any case after Defense Tech to be above 3 times EBITDA. We will be definitely much more precise when we are going to present the plan in early March.
The second question, Alexandra, was about the structure of revenue generation at the ABF level. We can confirm that, first of all, that ABF is a very established company with that strong relationship with both institutions as well as commercial partners, which obviously gives us a lot of bargaining power. Now, the business is obviously similar to Warrant, where we have an engagement fee or a fixed component, which is a smaller chunk, and a much larger success fee, which is also the result of a very high margin, to be very frank. So I would look at and model the actual revenue stream very similar to that to Warrant. Did you have a third question, I think, Alexandra?
Yes, it was on the revenue and EBITDA dynamics over the last 3 years. So slow down in 2022 and then a pick up in 2023, just to understand why it was the
Yes. Very clear here. Definitely, we look at detailed due diligence on that. There has been couple of issues there. First of all, the war in Ukraine slowed down quite significantly some investment by the clients, of course, and also they benefit of a bit of timing in favor in 21 that was less favorable in 22. Being an entrepreneurial company, is not changing that picture overall, even though they had a financial investor there. And so this has been the 2 points. We are very glad that definitely, as you can imagine, we entered with them in negotiations some months ago, and the results month by month are developing as expected. So before the closing, they released to us the last pre-consuntivo results, and they confirmed these figures that was what they told us since mid of this year. So we have in front a company that is very well managed, very well very capable to address different industry, different size of client, and to be very resilient on the EBITDA margin, and this is a key point for us. In terms of structure of the revenue, obviously they have a small first part of the activity. I cannot call retainer, but something like that. But obviously the revenue came at success when the funds are granted to their clients.
Okay, a very short one, last one. And the free cash flow conversion of the business of ABF is similar to your businesses in Italy?
Did you ask if the business is similar to the one in Italy? Is that what you asked?
The free cash flow conversion, if it is similar to the businesses you have in Italy.
The free cash conversion, yes, I said yes. We have here again not significant capex. Obviously, in Italy we are not having 20% growth per year, so here we have a cycle that is a little bit longer, and so we have absorption from working capital. But again, we are not worried as we deeply reviewed, and the level of losses is on account receivable is managed, and obviously the cycle is a cycle that is taking time, and when you grow 20%, definitely you have some absorption of working capital, like I said to Andrea when we put me the question. Overall, you can consider more or less the same.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
The next question is from Isacco Brambilla, Mediobanca. Please go ahead.
Hi again, just a quick follow-up. Considering this important step and related important cash out, how should we look at your ambitions in digital trust in terms of international expansion? Are they still intact looking at 2024?
Well, listen, we made 2 important acquisitions in last 2 years, Certerope in France, Chelsea in UK. I think that in 24 we should be very concentrated on integration of both. Moreover, Ascertia offers us the opportunities also of some offshoring through the Pakistani production unit, and we will work on this. of course, we are ready to take into consideration a new acquisition in Digital Trust, but we are, for the next year, we will be very much concentrated on integration, on exploiting all the synergies we can extract for the two companies. It means on the same time we have we are producing every year cash. It means that in the second half of next year we will be able to analyze some new opportunities. And anyway, we are, I think, in a very, very solid financial situation. If we will identify some new opportunities, we will see how to manage it.
Very clear. Thanks.
The next question is from Chandra Siraman with Stifel. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my question and congrats on a good deal. Just a couple of questions and a clarification. Can you talk about the seasonality within the year for ABF? Will it also be very skewed to Q4? The second question is in terms of your long-term plans to push towards consulting services, how does this acquisition impact this long-term plan? And just a clarification in terms of slide 11, you mentioned a revenue cumulative growth rate of 45% through 2024. Is that a typo and you're talking about 2023, or are you giving us a sense of what the growth rate for 24 is going to be? Thanks. Hello?
Yeah, sorry, Chandra. So, yeah, let me pick it up. So slide 11, you're absolutely right. It's 23, so the CAGR is on a 23 base, so 45% is 2023. Then we touched upon the seasonality, which there is obviously a seasonality depending on when the projects are engaged and then delivered. But as Birandra very I would say very importantly highlighted, there's a constant regulatory framework, right? So we are not in any way, shape, or form in a situation where the market has lower rates of deductible tax credit like you might have in countries similar to Italy, okay? So here there is a constant percentage of deductibility. I would say that the seasonality is absolutely a function of the timing when the entrepreneur starts analyzing the potential investment, refers to ABF, ABF engages, and then delivers the actual tax credit. Remember that once the authority, being the state, the region, or the local entity, approves the funding or the tax credit, we are absolutely fine with the revenue recognition, which I think is a very important aspect versus what happens in other countries. So yes, there is seasonality, but remember, as Oddone was pointing out, we're talking about a minimum growth of what, 20% on a per annum basis.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very important here. Yes, definitely the seasonality is strong. No doubt of that. We need to keep it very clearly in mind. We will definitely be much more detailed when we will present our plan and when we will consolidate the company in 2024. I have to tell you that honestly the second half of the year is in the range of 70%, just to be very clear to everybody since day one. Obviously the marginality has to be analyzed on the full year basis. So it does not mean, because you have people on board that are working all year long on a flat basis, and then you can recognize the revenue as success. So at the end of the project. So, but any case, as per warrant, we have this peak of the season in the last 2 months of the year. I would say that this will occur also for ABS. We as players, we are accustomed to this, and we will do our best to keep also you as analysts and investors in the position to fully analyze with us.
Then you have... Vediamo la seconda domanda. Okay, I will answer the second question about the future development of our advice and consulting services. Listen, with the acquisition of ABF, we will be able to have a customer basis of about 15, something between, I would say, 15 and 20,000 SMEs. Mainly medium-sized companies. With those companies, we will have a very strong relations because we support them into access to tax credits. We are next year. We are supposed in Italy to have 50% of the revenues of the business innovation coming from consulting and advisory services. It means that we are developing our internal competences on this. We will expand this activity in France and in Spain, starting, I would say, the second half of the next year. We mean in digital transformation, in digital in advice for digital manufacturing, digital marketing, and we will be able to exploit the customer basis at the European level in order to provide the consulting services at European level, as I said before.
Great, thank you.
The next question is from Timothy Pedroni from Schroders. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yep. Yeah, thank you very much. So thanks for all the information so far. Can I just go back and insist on the sort of growth profile going forward of ABF, so the 20% sort of CAGR for the next 3 or 4 years? Just to understand and to confirm that I got it right, the sort of 20% sort of base load growth, is it about ABF recruiting and expanding the portfolio of customers, so client numbers going up, or is it more linked to, again, the available tax incentives that the local authorities of the government every year sort of provides or makes available? So just for me to understand how you can control that 20% growth. Again, is it a market growth in terms of financing available? Is it you expanding your customer base? Is it you getting share from the other peers or competitors? Just a very high level, please, if you can comment on that.
Very clear. Give us a second, Timothy.
Listen, both. We are expected to have an interesting growth rate, as I said before, in ABF. I would say they will expand their customer basis because they were starting with next year. they will activate a cooperation agreement with another very important French bank. It means they will have a broader lead generation. On the same time, they will, of course, the local developer, the project they are developing are creating opportunities for advisory services that presently they are not delivering, but we consider they will be able in the next future, I would say it's not the next month, but the next 2 years, they will be able to provide through the strong integration with our people working, our people active on this business in Warrantap.
Got that. Thank you. So it's a combination of accessing more TAM addressable market and upselling with more incremental services you roll out over time, basically.
Correct.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, there are no more questions registered at this time. I turn the conference back to Mr. Mastragostino for the closing remarks.
Thank you very much for connecting to the call. I will be available for any questions at any time, for any details, both from a financial standpoint, Godone as well. So we're all available should you require additional information. I would take the chance to wish you all Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and to join us for the next call. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.